The family of Louise Young and her 5-year-old grandson, Samir August, is still reeling from their tragic demise. A grotesquely odd and horrid incident involving her son-in-law, who commandeered a backhoe in the early hours of Halloween. The excavator, driven by 35-year-old Samuel August Sr., was used as a battering ram, except that the door was not being broken down. It was the entire front portion of Young's home.
On the 31st of October, around 2 a.m., police received information that there was a backhoe damaging or destroying a residence on Faber's Road. As a result, police visited the number 6 Faber's Road, and they encountered, observed the building that was damaged to the front portion. In the debris, they found the motionless body of a 5-year-old who was identified to be that of Samir August, and likewise a elderly woman, 53-year-old Louise Young.
In the dead of night, August, an employee of the Belize City Council who was working a late shift, deliberately crashed a piece of heavy equipment into the bedroom. He did so repeatedly, raining down chunks of concrete and steel in the process. Inside the house was Young, her 3 grandchildren, her elderly mother, as well as a 13-year-old girl identified as Brittany Craig. Carolyn Welch recalls being with the teenager at the hospital sometime after.
I was with Brittany until they took her to the x-ray because they said she was suffering from internal bleeding and she had a broken arm. And it was after they took when she went in the x-ray room, my sister was wheeled out, and they rushed her back to the trauma room. And I was with Brittany for a while. It was after I came out from there and I went back to the trauma room that I learned that she had passed away. She had suffered a heart attack due to the trauma.
Welch's sibling, the maternal grandmother of August's 3 children, was fatally injured during the frightening ordeal. The deranged driver's youngest son, Samir August, perished on site. Despite her injuries, Brittany was lucky to have made it out alive.
Inside the home at the time were 5 individuals. Samuel August Jr., a 13-year-old, Samuel August, a 9-year-old, Samir August, a 5-year-old, Louis Young, 53 years old, Adelia Young, 77 years old, and Brittany Craig, 13 years old. In damaging the building, there was damage to a nearby residence, or nearby home as well. And likewise, a van was extensively damaged in an adjacent yard, which is a property of Atlantic Bank.
Young's next-door neighbor, himself a victim of the wreckage, is Carl Butler. He is a security officer employed by the Atlantic Bank.
My response was to get my grandchildren secure that was in the house at the time. So trying to get them out through the back door. So making sure that we stay alive was my priority. I had already called, of course, 911, waiting for the police arrival.
Seeing what was taking place after August partially destroyed his home, Butler drew his licensed firearm and took aim in the direction of the driver. Those rounds, however, did not find their mark on August's body.
After the incident and police arrived at the scene, Mr. August took off in the backhoe and he crashed into or lost control of the backhoe and ended up in a drain on Trinity Street. When police got him out of the machine, he had an injury to the head and was in an unconscious state. He was taken to the KHMH where he is under police guard.
The grave misfortune that has befallen this family is said to be the result of a custody battle between August and his mother-in-law for guardianship of the 3 boys. The fact that Young won the legal right and responsibility for raising them in the absence of their deceased mother is what many believe led to this tragic outcome.
I am calling on the authorities to do the right thing. I hope they do the right thing where he is concerned and he pays for what he did. Because it's a premeditated thing. It's something that he had planned apparently.
But whether that act of barbarity was indeed premeditated is one for the court to decide. Until then, the police department has reclassified its investigation into the matter. Can you explain to us what is the classification of this investigation and why it has been downgraded, in a manner of speaking, from murder to death investigation?
Well, the investigation is ongoing. As we speak, officers are gathering the evidence. We have been in consultation with the DPP's office, and they are getting evidence. So at this point, it is a matter of differentiating between murder and death investigation. But I'm sure that as the investigation concludes, then that will determine if Mr. August will be charged for murder as opposed to manslaughter or any other charges.
Reporting for News 5, I am Isane Kayatano.